And guys, what is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993 Country for a little bit of a procrastinated, yet just probably a quick, brief review of SmackDown Live, the December 2017 edition of SmackDown Live, the second to last episode of SmackDown Live for the year. As you all know, I did not really get to watch the show live because tonight I took part in the end of the year awards video on Daniel Geis's channel. Please be sure to check it out. It was about 2 hours and 44 minutes. It was an awesome time. Dan, Robbie, and I all talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly of 2017. Check it out. So I just sat down and just watched the highlights from this night's episode of SmackDown Live, just so just have this review quickly up there. From what I saw, a lot of people were saying this wasn't too bad of a show, and I agree. It wasn't that bad at all. I watched it for the most part. I thought it was worth my time. Some interesting things happened, but some things weren't really that great either. So I'll just do the rundown real quick and just talk about what all happened in this show. It won't be probably one of the best reviews I've had, but it's gonna be brief. So I get up early tomorrow morning. So we start off the show with Daniel Bryan making his entrance in the arena, and he welcomes us and says before he gets into the pay-per-view, he wants to talk about the announcement of the Women's Royal Rumble from yesterday, saying how he's excited about it. It's a turning point in WWE history, and they are going to have a great show tonight. Also, announcing the main event. It's really just a rematch from Tribute to the Troops. AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Jinder Mahal. And then here comes Shane McMahon. He greets Daniel Bryan. The crowd agrees that yes, the Women's Royal Rumble is awesome and it's gonna be amazing. But he wants to talk about Clash of Champions. They were there in the ring, both of them special guest referees. He's thinking about everything going the right way. When Orton hit Zayn with the most beautiful RKO he's ever seen, he went down to count, smiling 1, 2, knowing that when he got to 3, they'd be gone forever. But that's not what happened. As he was counting down for 3, Dan tripped. Of course, they mentioned how Daniel Bryan tripped and landed on him, breaking the count. Shane could have counted to 50. Bryan says that it was an accident. Shane knows that, but it was he at the time. I'm sorry about that. But when Zayn rolled Orton up, Shane got the 2, and then he thought of what Owens did to his dad. He thought of what Sammy did to save Kevin Owens from when Shane McMahon jumped off Hell in a Cell. He thought of what the both of them did to screw SmackDown and Survivor Series, and went through his head, and his emotions got the better of him, so he stopped the count. He says that how Bryan's emotions then got the better of him, and he got it in his face. Sammy rolled up Orton again, and Bryan did a fast count, getting Kevin and Sammy the win. Thus, they're not fired. So, having explained what was going through his head, Shane wants to know what was going through Daniel Bryan's head. And Daniel, I lost my place. I completely lost my place at all. Daniel Bryan said he did what he did to protect Shane from himself. And, of course, I got to thank you, Daniel, chant from the crowd. And Shane says, with all due respect, he doesn't need protection. And Bryan says, you do. You eat, sleep. Bryan himself eats, sleeps, and breathes SmackDown, but his passion turns him into a hothead. I'm sorry, he's talking about Shane McMahon here. His passion turns him into a hothead, and Bryan protected not just him, but their idea. He took the job as general manager because he believes in their shared vision and the land of opportunity for everyone, not just for people Shane likes. And he may not like Sammy and Kevin, but you threaten your livelihood to take away the opportunity they promised to everyone. Shane says he's been trying to figure it out and ruminating on the idea. He can understand how he personally has empathy for Owens and Zayn, but he wants him to know to be very careful because as soon as they're done playing his heartstrings, they're going to stab him in the back, which he's not lying, it's pretty much true. And from a business standpoint, he can't show favoritism to them because it'll come around and bite them right in the ear. Daniel Bryan, denies the idea. And he says, talking about business, he asks, was that going to be best for business? Because he's heard those words before and he struggled against those words, but he believes in Shane and SmackDown and in their shared vision. But if he has a completely different vision, then that's a problem. If he wants to fire somebody, Shane should fire him because he doesn't want to see Shane O'Mac turn into Mr. McMahon. Shane takes this in, of course, and he just cools off and tells Daniel that he respects him, and his simplicity, and he trusts him, and he wishes him good luck with tonight's show, and he just walks out. So cooler heads seem to prevail, but I'm sure the storyline between the two of them isn't going to be done. I'm sure we're going to get something coming down in the future. Just hopefully it leads to something good. Yes, Tian Coupon, I got your tweets. Thank you for informing me of some of the stuff that was going on during SmackDown Live while we were doing the live stream, as well as also to Ultra Shadow, who was also in the live stream with us as well. So yeah, a little bit interesting. Not quite what I expected. There may still be some tension going on between them. It seems like things cooled off, and Daniel Bryan obviously was not going to turn heel completely from these words saying he's doing what's best for SmackDown Live. He's not showing any favoritism towards Sami and Kevin, but it's like Shane's obviously just going out of his way to punish Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But it's just the strange thing still is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are heels. Shouldn't we want to see them get punished and even fired if they're doing the wrong thing that they did? Still a little confusing, but I'm sure it's not. It's again, as I said in my video about Shane McMahon secretly playing a heel this year, it still seems like Shane McMahon is putting over the guys who need to be put over, even if they're heels. But he's been in a situation where it feels like he's more of a villain than them. It's strange, but whatever. So this segment wasn't too bad to open up the show. We then had next was a tag team match. It was the tag team champions, the Usos, taking on Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. I thought this was a pretty good match between these two teams. It was a fun tag match, as we discussed in the Year in Awards video. We had a lot of great tag team action this year, especially for SmackDown tag teams division that before WrestleMania and the Superstar Shakeup. Now, good thing about the Superstar Shakeup for SmackDown is it eventually did revive the tag team division on SmackDown list, because before the Superstar Shakeup, one downside about SmackDown was the tag team division felt very dry and pointless. But the Usos have really turned into an awesome tag team, reviving their careers after that heel turn last year. And then this match against an upcoming team in Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, again, which I'm still confused why they made them heels. I don't know why. But again, they're still having the trash talk. They just need to do some more heelish actions rather than just the heelish mic skills. But it was a fun match, and realistically, it just looked great. And somehow, Gable Benjamin beat the Usos clean. Nothing really too cheap about it or anything. I was surprised by that. So it looks like they're going to try to get another shot at the SmackDown tag titles. I'm sure, though, eventually, we're going to be seeing, the Bludgeon Brothers, which I don't think we didn't see the Bludgeon Brothers tonight. But Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable are still gunning for the SmackDown Live tag titles. So, I do like the ending, of course, also, with the inverted Bulldog with the power bomb hit on Jey Uso. So, again, good match. I'm not really the biggest fan of, champions losing clean, but this was, a fun match. And, yeah, I look forward to see what happens next for the tag team division as well. And then next we had Charlotte making her way to the ring, and we get a recap of the historic announcement of the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, and Charlotte admits that announcement gave her goosebumps, and she retained her title Clash of Champions, and nothing makes her happier than wearing this title on her shoulder, even though it was technically around her waist, which is a little strange. And she mentioned how Stephanie announced the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match last night. But you want to know who helped though? And she gave the crowd credit, saying the fans for taking to social media and chanting the arenas to show passion and management listen to giving women a chance, not dropping the term divas. And she says, but no matter who wins this Royal Rumble, she'll be waiting to defend her title at WrestleMania. And in comes Naomi, the only other babyface on SmackDown Live right now, well, active one, because Becky Lynch is out for filming a movie. Naomi comes in and congratulates Charlotte on her title defense, says she's out here to announce herself as the first SmackDown woman to declare herself in the Royal Rumble, and said, Charlotte, I'll see you at WrestleMania. She's like, cool, I'll see you then. And then out comes the Riot Squad again, two T's. Naomi calls them Three Stooges, who won't be in the Royal Rumble because the Royal Rumble isn't about the sneak attacks. It's about every woman for herself and surviving a numbers game. She and Charlotte have survived everything they've thrown at them, so why not two of them step in for a match? They can teach them how to rumble. So we had a match. It was Charlotte and Naomi taking on Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan. So Liv Morgan was at ringside. Match was, all right, nothing really too special. Strange show that the Riot Squad lost, so it's like you bring them up for no reason at all whatsoever again, and now they're already lost their first match. Whatever, the match was what it was, but the hype for the Rumble I still liked. I have some comments in the comment section from Lauren Hutton saying, I miss SmackDown Live, can't wait to watch it. Lauren thought Daniel Bryan would turn heel, and I was concerned that was going to happen myself. I thought they were going that direction, but I still personally don't think that at this point, I feel it's too late to turn Daniel Bryan heel. With the story that he has and whatnot, it would be, well, Sami Zayn's heel turn wasn't heartbreaking, I feel, for most fans who grew up watching Sami down at NXT. But I feel like, at this point, it's too late to consider to turn Daniel Bryan heel. Because no matter what, the crowd's still going to love him because, the popularity he got. I still think it would be tough to turn Daniel Bryan heel. So I'm kind of glad they haven't really gone with that yet, but they could go until on the line with surprise me. But in my personal opinion, I'd say don't turn Daniel heel. What do you think of the Women's Royal Rumble match? I think it's a great idea. I'm hoping it'll be a good moment for women. They don't screw this up big time. I will mention also brief thoughts that my friend Daniel Gaiza mentioned before we did our live stream tonight. He mentioned something about that he didn't like how it was set up because it was them brawling and Stephanie coming out and them all celebrating afterwards. Like, they all like each other, whatnot. I mean, yes, really, it's a good, off the show, it's good, but part of the show, it's like, weren't you guys just fighting? You're just supposed to hate each other. Absolution's in there, trying to, because it's called, stuff that doesn't have to do with the show gets on the show, and it just doesn't make sense as to why they would, be like, liking each other after, they had just, been fighting. What could have been better was, the announcement of the Rumble, and then them all be like, okay, well, I want this. Is everyone for himself? And then they start brawling. That's how you end the show. Maybe have like Asuka or someone staying in the middle of the ring. Just want to give a thing there, but still, I am happy with the Women's Royal Rumble match. And of course, Tia and Coupon is looking forward to the surprise entrance that needs to happen. Trish, Tori, Melina, Eve, Michelle, and Kelly make their returns. Good possibilities. With the Riot Squad at Absolution, work together to help Paige. I mean, again, I was hoping that the Riot Squad would actually be, Paige's, cronies on SmackDown. I mean, if they revealed it, be it cool. If not, then I still don't like how they're just up there for no reason. That's gracious. I feel Daniel needs a refreshment, though. That's cool with me. You can do a double turn Shane heel with Orton and KO and KO and Sammy face turn. Interesting. Lauren thinks Orton can't turn heel as too soon. Owens would fit as a face. I do agree. Or Owens as a face, I still think would be a little strange. I think he kills it as a heel. If he was a baby face, I'd say he'd probably be on the lines of Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'd say in some ways. Still a bad man, but he's doing things that, or how Braun Strowman is on Raw right now. He, I mean, he's not really a bad man. He's going after Kane, but he's doing things that, make us, like appreciate him and root for him pretty much. That's how, I felt like it was for Stone Cold Steve Austin. But, getting back to where I was, and yes, I've Asuka and Sammy will win the Rumbles. I mean, and Asuka and Shinsuke win the Rumbles. Yes, I agree. Sammy is not meant to be a heel. He should have been a purebred babyface, but WWE can't book one. All right. I mean, thanks for the comments in the live chat. But I want to get back to the reviewers. I do gotta get up early tomorrow morning. But yeah, we had the women's match. Whatever. Backstage we had the New Day. Now here's the thing. I usually say stuff like this is I don't really find amusing with people dressing up on the show, dressed up in different costumes and whatnot about weird things. But stuff like this fits the New Day. So I was cool with this is the New Day. With Rusev Day, wasn't too sure about that. So backstage we have them all New Day dressed up in costumes. Big E is an elf. Xavier Woods is a reindeer, and Kofi Kingston is a gingerbread man. And they have just, pancakes feeding people. I can use some pancakes right now. And then all of a sudden they come across Rusev and Aiden English. Rusev is dressed up as Santa Claus, and Aiden English is dressed up as Frosty the Snowman. And Rusev's like, I'm gonna give people what they really want. Rusev Day shirts, and then and how they all have one list is a naughty list, and everyone is on except for Aiden English. And then English starts singing a Christmas tree version with the "Oh Rusev Day," challenging them to a match. And then Rusev takes a pancake and stomps on it, and they accepts the challenge, saying, "Because you guys flapped the wrong jack, and we're gonna fight. Happy Rusev Day, whatnot." And yes, I continue to, again, despite not being a fan of the whole Rusev Day thing at first, it's helping Aiden English and Rusev, and I respect that. It is getting very over with the crowd. Like Sunday Clash of Champions was kind of like my moment, like where I did back at SummerSlam 2015, which I attended live SummerSlam 2015, where I didn't really like the New Day at first, but that promo they cut before that Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam 2015 sold me on the New Day, and I think Clash of Champions sold me more on Rusev Day, so I'm becoming more and more of a fan of Rusev Day. So then we're going to have a match later on. These guys. Now again, I didn't mind the New Day dressed up in their costumes, but I wasn't too big of a fan of Rusev Day though, because I don't know. I still think that like Rusev Claus. I don't know, but again, I'll give it for whatever it was. But then we had this. This was the most interesting point of the night. We have Dolph Ziggler, who surprisingly won the United States Championship, come to the ring. He starts by saying, I told you guys so. And especially how is the truth, why was people wondering why Dolph was in the match? And he says, this is why. And he holds up his title, and he thinks, if you think him winning the title was out of nowhere, you haven't been paying attention for the last 12 years. For 12 years, I've walked into work every day and accepted every challenge thrown my way, literally and figuratively. Some guys will tell you they're the biggest, the baddest, or most charismatic. Not me. I'm just the best. No one could do what I could do in the ring, and the United States Championship doesn't prove it to you. It's not his first one. Maybe you need a refresher course. And I remember Capital Punishment. He beat Kofi Kingston for the same title with a sleeper hold, and he won an Intercontinental title as well, world title run. I don't think did he win the tag title. Oh yeah, I think he did when he was part of Spirit Squad. And you think he's going to start, raving about all of his accomplishments he did. But then all of a sudden, there's like a little bit of a change in attitude. All of a sudden, he says, I'm the most decorated superstar in the WWE. He's proven it to himself and the rest of the world, but unfortunately, he still gets unappreciated. And he says, you're not worthy of my presence. You don't deserve me. And you want someone to remember me by? And he just sets down the United States Championship and walks out. And I'm like, what? Well, we first found out about it during our live stream. So, let me put it this way. Dolph Ziggler randomly it was truth. We were asking, why was Dolph thrown to this match? Why did Dolph deserve a Clash of Champions match for the U.S. title? And then why did he win it? Like, he wasn't winning any matches, and now all of a sudden he looks like he's relinquishing and walking out of the company. I just found it kind of strange, but just like, is this like, the WWE promising him, oh, we'll give you the U.S. title, just to give you one last title win before you leave or whatnot? It was just strange, but I'm curious. Does this mean Dolph is done? If so, we've lost both Dolph and Natalya. If Natalya walked out with that promo she cut after Clash of Champions, we'll see what happens with both of them when we get down the line for there. Wow, I have a lot of comments to look at in this live chat. Thank you both for staying tuned, and I'll go here. Braun Strowman wears a face as well, kind of, but again, the truth is, like, he's being rooted for, so like, why not make him a baby face? Because he's really over with the crowd. But honestly, he looks like a dominating monster and a heel. So unless he's like it'd be weird if it's like him and like I don't know, somebody else is like smaller. And obviously he could squash. Like, he's not the underdog there. Let me see here. Do you think New Day will get another title opportunity? Yeah, I agree with Tick. We're probably down the road. Maybe just not yet right now. Yeah, SmackDown Live has definitely gone downhill. Superstar shakeup. I do want to see Rusev and Aiden English start here if they keep getting the reaction. Hopefully they do get a title run as well. You're picking Kane to defeat Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar at the Rumble. Okay, interesting pick there. Yes, Rusev used to have the title. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, I do feel Dolph was. I think his contract is due to expire soon. I mean, I've always loved Dolph. I just am upset with like the booking that he's been getting all these years. 12 years, he's got like some title opportunities, but they give him like just like short runs. Like, he should have had like a nice long world title run, especially after he cashed in the pop he got when he came out to cash in the briefcase in 2013 after WrestleMania 29 was unreal. But they just never really pushed him. Another huge opportunity they had to push him was after he was a sole survivor at Survivor Series in 2014. But they did nothing with him. So if Dolph needs to go somewhere else to show what he's worth, awesome, good for him, because he's a great talent. And if WWE is just going to continue just to book him like trash, then he deserves to be somewhere else, in my opinion. I thought them turning him heel at the beginning of the year was a good idea, but to me, it felt like they just turned him heel just to prove what they exactly think of him. AJ Styles as WWE champion, definitely the best idea for SmackDown right now. AJ Styles is definitely my favorite too. I just met him earlier this year at a World Wrestling Convention signing. You like Orton, Cena, Rollins, Edge, AJ, HBK, Kane, and Ambrose. Good picks. Natty was definitely a good talent. I was happy to see her get an opportunity to SmackDown title run. Her wrestling was good. I just thought her pros as champion were not quite there, but I've always appreciated Natty for the talent she is. Thank you for the comment, like my streams. Thank you for the endorsement. Yeah, the booking of Dolph is confusing. 2017, I can't fully consider 2017 a bad year. I consider it just a very inconsistent year. A bad year for me was 2015. Because there was just so many terrible decisions that year, and it just felt like screw this, or also then this just a bad booking in the fall also just went really downhill. Nothing really was that great about 2015. 2017 we've had some good things. The Hardys returning, women's wrestling continuing to step up, some great tag matches, a lot. She loves Jeff Hardy, awesome. 2014 he would have a world title run. The most he got after that was he had that really good Intercontinental title ladder match against Luke Harper at TLC. That was a really good ladder match, very underrated match Definitely. But then that was short-lived because they gave right back to Barrett. That's when they start taking away everything away from Barrett as well. The bad news gimmick. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Who apparently came out recently saying he wasn't allowed to use that anymore because he was getting over it. He wanted to be a heel. Like, why not be a babyface? Dolph Ziggler versus Omega in Japan. Awesome. Natty, though, better as a face. Then a heel. I can somewhat see it because, like Natty always, with her being a veteran, seems like a more motherly figure, but just depending on, I believe, who's, on the roster, like putting people over as well. Like, Natty's a person who I felt is like Chris Jericho. She's around maybe to put people over, but she gets the wins at times when needs to be for her case as well. So it's not like she's there just to lose all the time. She puts people over in good ways, but she also, gets her wins when needed as well. 2015 was one of the worst. Beginning 2017 was amazing. I mean, what do you think? Who do you think is on the verge of a turn soon? Wade Barrett was Wade set 2012. I'll get to who I think should turn soon, but again, let me just continue on with this episode of SmackDown. Thank you for your thank you again for all your comments in the live chat, Tia Couponer and Lauren Hutton. So then after this, we had a backstage segment with Daniel Bryan on the phone talking to someone. Sammy and KO come in, just saying they want to celebrate Daniel, thinking that, he just, did what he did last night for them. And Bryan was awesome, says he didn't do it for them. He did it for the fans and for SmackDown. And also, he declined their offer for champagne because he doesn't drink. They said, they play it off like they bring up the elephant in the room. You're saying like, you have a grudges after all Randy Orton did you back in 2013 and whatnot. And ironically, Shane's doing that to us. And then so as a friend, that Shane's doing that to us next. But Daniel it says, you guys are delusional. If you don't stop gloating and smiling while you're doing, I might have to fire you guys myself. And he orders them just go get ready for their match. And then we had the match, New Day versus Rusev Day. Again, as I said, the whole thing with the costumes and stuff seemed to fit New Day well, their entertainment. Rusev Day, although they're becoming more entertaining, I don't know. I wasn't as big of a fan of the costumes yet. The match they had wasn't too bad. The most notable thing they really did was during the match, they put a ton of whipped cream and a cherry on top of all the pancakes, which I'm sitting there like, oh, please, I would love to have those pancakes right now. I love my whipped cream, love my cherries. Add some chocolate chips with strawberries on there. I would love to eat those as well. But then they were trying to, pie Xavier Woods in the face. He's like all rated R, if you know what I mean. But then he resists, and then Kofi Kingston, I think, took out Rusev, and then they ended up pieing Aiden English in the face. Eventually picked up the pinfall victory. Again, for what it was, wasn't too bad. And then we had the main event, which was a match. It was a rematch from the main event of Truth to the Troops. AJ Styles and Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Jinder Mahal, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. We've seen these guys fighting six-man tag action before. For what it was all right. It's just, the good guys pretty much getting one up on them. Styles and Nakamura win, and, that's how the show went off the air. Let's go to the live chat and get to the last of the messages. You still think Daniel Bryan will turn heel? I'm not going to rule it out because, as he and Cooper in WWE, I think Randy Orton is better as a face or a heel. Honestly, when Randy Orton actually shows he cares, he could still be a good baby face, like in his feud with Seth Rollins in 2015. But through most of this year, he hasn't really shown he cares that much, really. And he's admitted recently that he doesn't like being a baby face. And stuff for sure he's being told to say, like the scripted promos, he's not happy with doing either. So honestly, I mean, my personal opinion, I think he's better as a heel because I think he likes being a heel. He thrives more in that role. He's more, cunning and whatnot. Personally, I was kind of hoping for him to turn heel at Clash of Champions on Shinsuke Nakamura this Sunday. So that way we would have him and AJ face off for the championship at the Royal Rumble. Because at this point, who else is AJ going to face? And I say for long-term booking, because him and Nakamura had a good number of contenders match in the bill before Hell in a Cell back in September. So I would like to see, what if we have a feud between these two? Nakamura and Orton, and somehow Orton overcomes Nakamura in like a not clean way, and becomes number one contender for the title match of the Royal Rumble, and then either at Fastlane or something for WrestleMania. Because my pick is still for Nakamura to win the Rumble. Have Nakamura face Orton. They'll culminate their feud with Nakamura's Rumble win on the line. And that will lead to, hopefully, the main event of WrestleMania, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, because there's nothing be bigger than that match. Let me see what else we have in the live chat. I think I made Tian Coupon hungry for some pancakes. How do you feel about John Cena's free agent status? I mean, definitely at this point in his career, with he's definitely thinks his time is winding down, and for him wanting to face different superstars on the roster, not just on SmackDown, because I mean he's faced almost everyone on SmackDown, in my opinion. So probably get some more chance to people on Raw. Like, let me see here, he's faced Roman, he faced Braun, him and Jeff Hardy. I like to see them go at it. Him and Finn Balor, if they would build Balor back up to where he should be, I like to see him and Finn Balor have a match. Him and Cesaro. Now, the matches they had for the U.S. Open Challenge in 2015, I would love to see those two have a singles feud. I would love to see that. Who else? There was a couple others I remember. I did a video recently on Samoa Joe. That's what he should face at WrestleMania. John Cena and Samoa Joe. That would be an awesome WrestleMania match, of course. You can't stand Jinder. Oh, who can stand Jinder? Every time he comes up, I just polish up the royal my middle fingers. Royal 34 predictions. I'll probably make a video regarding that. Orton was all right as a baby face, the runs he had. He had some good moments there. I just say that there's just sometimes where Orton as a face, he can be good as a baby face. It's just sometimes he acts like he just doesn't really care as a baby face. Like his feud with Bray Wyatt, his view of Bray Wyatt fell apart after he burned down the Wyatt family compound, and this how dead the match was at the WrestleMania, and their House of Horrors match was too good. His feud with Jinder wasn't that great. Matches with Rusev. The one I liked their match at Hell in a Cell, but their SummerSlam match, hated it. But again, if he actually could put more effort into it, he could be still good as a babyface. Let me see here. Do more movies. Have Cena. Yeah, see the movies. WWE could still use him at some point, I'd say. Yes, Orton as a heel, especially in 2009, was awesome. Legacy was great. Can't blame Randy. He's been booked awful. Yes, he has, definitely. And again, it's not his fault. I'm not blaming him. It's just, the booking. Since the scripted promos and the booking, that's what probably makes him, not appreciate what he does. So I'm not blaming him on it. It's creative. Cena could help build other wrestlers as long as he puts them over. Missed opportunity was Baron Corbin. And yes, Tian Kumar does have a video on dream matches for WrestleMania 34. I'll probably get it. I will do an early prediction for WrestleMania 34 sometime soon. Usually, like after the Royal Rumble, between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, I try to do like a weekly video called The Road to WrestleMania. Since I'm now doing live reviews for all pay-per-views, maybe I will do my early predictions for WrestleMania 34 the first week. So my first episode of this year's next upcoming year's edition of The Road to WrestleMania, I will do predictions for WrestleMania 34, like early predictions. I won't make my usual, match card until after the last pay-per-view, but I'll do some early predictions I will leave out there as well. But good questions there. I mean, I'd love to answer all of them. I gotta get to bed and get moving. So I get up early tomorrow morning. But yeah, thank you guys again for tuning into this video, to this live stream, and for for Lauren and for Tia Couponer for your comments in the live chat as well. Before we go off the air, let me just look at my polls really quick here. Let me see here. What grade would you give SmackDown Live tonight? I have 5 votes. Nobody said A. 60% said B. 20% said C, and 20% said D. And which show did you enjoy more this week, Raw or SmackDown Live? We had 13 votes, 31% Raw, 69% said SmackDown Live. For my grade of this week's episode, and yes, Vince is stupid this year. He's still pretty much out of touch. Orton, Cena, the Hardy Boys booked awfully this year. Sheamus too. I mean, let me see here. Orton had bad bookings. Cena's had some good bookings as well. I liked his feud with The Miz. Him putting over Bray Wyatt was awesome. I just didn't like his feud with Rusev for the flag match. I didn't like how he just buried Baron Corbin the way he did. Hardy's had some was directionless after they dropped the tag titles. I like their feud with Sheamus and Cesaro. Sheamus and Cesaro again have really developed as a tag team this year. Shoot, I lost train of thought. But as a heel tag team, even though I still think that it should have been Enzo and Cass being the ones to turn heel on Sheamus and Cesaro on the Hardy Boys instead of instead of Sheamus and Cesaro, because I felt like Enzo and Cass had the momentum going into WrestleMania 33 to win the tag titles. Anyways, getting to Leslie's comments. All Vince cares about is Brock, Roman, and Braun, pretty much. But I'm still on Team Braun pretty much. And if Roman's not being shoved down our throats, I don't mind. I want to root for Roman, but I just can't when they're giving him this terrible booking. Lauren gives SmackDown tonight a B. I'm gonna give it a B-. I thought it was a pretty solid show. A lot of interesting stuff happened. Not really anything too astronomical, but it was awesome. But yeah, thank you again, Lauren and Tia Couponer, for tuning into the live chat. So again, guys, if you haven't still watching this video after it was uploaded, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, and please be sure to also click the like and subscribe for more content to come to my channel. Follow me on Twitter also at TheManHerb93. I should be live tomorrow night for my NXT review. I still want to do maybe some type of a couple end of the year videos as well. So we'll see what happens there. I'll see what happens. I definitely probably going to be doing an end of the year Q&A video. I'll post it probably maybe Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and I'll probably do it sometime before the new year. And there's other little odds and ends on my channel as well. But also, if you haven't yet, please check out the live stream I did tonight with Dan and Robbie for the 2017 Year in Review Awards videos. If you go to my friend Daniel Guys' channel and watch it from there, it's almost 3 hours, but it's worth the 3 hours of watching. So again, thank you, Tia Couponer and Lauren Hutton, for joining me in the live chat and all your questions. And I'm sure to do some videos regarding some of your questions as well. So until then, guys, I'll see you later. And also, Tia Couponer, I hope you're feeling better as well. I know you've been sick this week. But until then, guys, I have to get to bed. I got to get up in like 5 hours. But until then, guys, I'll see you all later. Have a good night.